November 10th, Friday, about 3:21. I looked up at the sky here in Asheville, North Carolina, and said to myself, "Oh my! They're spraying stuff in the sky." While I watch. And you can see around here, all over the sky, is even dispersed chemicals I call splotches. So that straight line I just showed you will wind up looking like that and like that. Chemicals dumped in the sky. November 11th, about 1:28. The attack on humanity continues. Chemtrails in the sky. November 11th, about 1:53 on this Saturday, here in the mountains, North Carolina, looking at the sky, intense spraying, and as you can see, jet after jet. There's one right there, there's one right here. Dumping chemicals in our sky. When it appears like the people who control the planet are bent on population reduction. So what are they dumping up there? And why? Inquiring minds want to know. My mind wants to know. Do you want to know? November 11th, 2:42 on this Saturday, 2017. Somebody is dumping chemicals in the sky, painting the sky pasty white. The entire sky being painted pasty white. Dumping chemicals. I keep saying this cannot be good for we the people. Here in the mountains of North Carolina. When all the other evidence suggests preparations for a global order and depopulating the planet, and they're dumping chemicals in our sky. Trees are dying, a lot fewer birds. What the heck is going on? Rick Miracle reporting on this Saturday. November 15th, 2017, Wednesday, about 2 p.m. I was looking up at the sky, and of course I said, "Oh my! What the heck? Here's a plane spraying as I watch." Spraying live. And you can see it's just sprayed and how it's already spreading apart. Dumping chemicals in our sky. Here he comes out from behind the tree. Unbelievable today, the amount of chemicals being dumped in the sky. That's not clouds. You can tell. You can see the cores of the lines that were sprayed, like this guy. And that line is already spreading apart on the tail here. He's still spraying. Unbelievable! Who could even fathom this much stuff dumped in the sky? Here in the mountains of North Carolina, that cannot be good for we the people. When the powers that be are focused on depopulating the planet, you'd think people would be concerned about this. Screaming, running down the streets with a pitchfork to stop those governmental agencies from dumping these chemicals. Probably being directed from the United Nations, which is controlled by the globalists, the banksters, and the elites who want to depopulate the planet. If you want me to be plain spoken about it, That's the scenario we're facing. The reality is we're under attack. Rick Miracle reporting. November 15th, about 3:49 on this Wednesday afternoon. And as unbelievable as it seems, almost unlimited spray lines in the sky. Jet planes dumping chemicals in the sky. You can see the straight lines embedded in the white stuff. Clouds don't fly in the mist in the middle of the white stuff. Clouds, if you think those are clouds, they fly above the weather so they can see. But these jets, relentlessly, one after another, like you can see this fresh one right here, spraying right now. Look at this. Try to count the spray lines. Would you agree there's more than a dozen? And then the other ones are meshed together, painting the entire sky pasty white with chemicals and maybe pathogens like biologicals, spreading DNA or viruses that gets in our bodies. What are they dumping? And you can see that they're doing it live. Well, I can video them spraying it. Anyways, doing a 360. Unbelievable amount of dumping of chemicals on humanity. And you would think people would be outraged. I mean, if you were out west when the Pilgrims were settling in the west and you saw a whole tribe of Indians heading towards your caravan, screaming with their bows and arrows, racing towards your caravan, you'd circle the caravan and get ready to defend yourself because you were being attacked. Okay, why aren't we circling our caravans now? We are under attack, costing taxpayers millions, maybe billions of dollars since I've been monitoring this since 2005. Why would they spend all that money? Go watch Jack Cruz or Dr. McCullough. They have a lot of videos on YouTube, and they will tell you how important light is to your health. Full spectrum light. And what the chemtrails and the painting of the sky pasty white does is it does not allow full spectrum light. A narrow bandwidth gets through, and like Seattle, where people have depression and ailments because there's not a lot of light because of the much overcast weather, fog, clouds. It's a serious depression and health issue in Seattle. So wouldn't you say that them painting the sky pasty white, narrowing the bandwidth of normal light for we humans and animals and birds and bees and trees and plants and fish, wouldn't you say that they are messing with Mother Nature, and obviously intentionally? And when you combine that with the other assaults on humanity, directed energy weapons, it seems, were used in the California fire, weather control, weather warfare used on the hurricanes in Texas and Florida, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and sonic HAARP, H-A-A-R-P weapons used to cause earthquakes, etc. Economic destruction, inside job 911, false flags, Las Vegas gun shooting, and so much more. And the officials that control our world keep screaming globalism, sustainability, biodiversity, population reduction. I got books on that. Go watch my videos on the YouTube channel, Rick Miracle Truth Seeker. Anyways, there's my video for today. We're being sprayed like we're bugs, but I don't think we're bugs. Are you a bug? On this Wednesday, November 15th, why are not people outraged at this? Why? Unbelievable! Look how many lines. Try to count them. Helter skelter, spraying all different directions. And the spraying continues today. Went inside the store for a minute. Unbelievable, you think? Here in Asheville, North Carolina. November 16th, about 10:20. Walked outside after my coffee this morning, and I said, oh my, what are they doing to us? What's going on in your neighborhood? Are they spraying you like a bug? They're spraying me like a bug. Here in the mountains of North Carolina, of course that's off towards the south, east, and overhead we can see some of the lines of spread apart or blowing across the sky, turning into a sheet of chemicals. One has to wonder, can we humans survive this? Can Mother Earth survive the chemicals they're putting all over her? What do you think? Rick Miracle reporting here in November. The leaves have fallen. The trees are bare. Winter is coming. And things have died. The million-dollar question is, why are they dumping chemicals on us? And you can watch them do it, like I'm doing here. Oh my. November 16th, about 11 o'clock. The insanity continues. Spraying while I watch. Here's two planes crossing, one spraying this way and one spraying the other way. Unbelievable! And yet, people are not outraged. There's one going parallel to all those lines. Is that how they fly planes in the sky, crisscrossing, passing each other over and under? I don't think so. But that's how they dump chemicals in the sky. And you can see this line is not continuous. Spraying us like we're bugs. Rick Miracle video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. Unbelievable. November 17th. About 5:16 on this Friday evening. Rick Miracle video in the sky, noticing the crazy chemtrail dumping, chemical dumping in the sky. As you can plainly see, Stuff's not clouds. It's all short squirts, as you can see. Dispersing in the sky, putting a pasty blanket over we the people here in the mountains of North Carolina. What the heck is going on? November 18th, Saturday, 2017. At 10 o'clock in the morning. I walked outside and it's obvious they're dumping chemicals in the sky. And you can see how it blows in the breeze here. When all those chemicals turn into what almost looks like a cloud. But clouds are gaseous. Yes. This stuff is stringy. Chemicals. Yes. Anyways, on this Saturday morning here in the mountains of North Carolina, you can see that they are dumping a ton of these chemicals in our sky. Unbelievable! And more information comes out every day. I was just watching Dane Wigington, Geoengineering Watch, and he pointed out that with all the electromagnetic transmissions and these heavy metals that are being dumped, it can actually cause these chemicals in the sky to have an electromagnetic charge and can control the weather. So if you look off towards the horizon there, you can see straight line after straight line after straight line. Big fat lines and thin lines. So plenty of evidence that they are dumping tons of chemicals in the sky. And it does get affected with the electromagnetic transmissions, which can come from several sources. The HARP transmissions, 40-acre arrays, that means many transmitter antennas, 40 acres. Can you imagine? Look like a big checkerboard. Beamed at the sky, which can be used to direct and control. Well, my camera rudely turned itself off. So you got your HARP transmitters transmitting microwaves, which you already know can heat up metal and quite aggressively. And then your 5G cell network that's supposed to connect to everything, smart meters, permeate everything. And then Gwen towers, satellites from space. Somebody has weaponized the weather at a time when the powers that be want to bring us a new age and a new world order, globalism, and they want to depopulate the planet. Combine those two things together and the assault on the weather, whether it's weather control or weather warfare, whatever you want to name it, and toxins and poisons in the water and the food, fluoride, mercury, etc., pesticides, herbicides. We humans maybe don't have a chance unless people wake up. Rick Miracle reporting from the mountains of North Carolina. 20th, about 1:20 on this Monday afternoon. Rick Miracle looking at the sky, noticing the insane amount of chemicals dumped in the sky by Sky Spraying. You can't mistake it. You can watch the planes do it. Right there's one. Lines everywhere. Line after line after line after line after line after line after line of chemicals dumped in the sky. And with all kinds of other nefarious activities going on planet Earth for globalism and depopulation, this spraying of chemicals to this amount is just concerning, to say the least. You think? Rick Miracle reporting. Video in the sky so that you can see what I can see. November 21, Tuesday. About 4:30, 2017. Rick Miracle here in the mountains of North Carolina. Exclaiming, unbelievable amounts of chemicals dumped in the sky today. All of what you see is not clouds. Wouldn't that be unbelievable? And you can see the dividing line of this stuff that's dumped and which way it's blowing. It's blowing that way. Here's another big fat cigar line. So they're dumping chemicals. Meanwhile, they want a new world order and to depopulate the planet. You add the two together, and they're coming on with the 5G electromagnetic microwave communication system all over the world. They can microwave us with big, thick 1-inch cables with carrying a lot of wattage and amperage. They can literally microwave us like we're inside of a microwave oven while they're dumping these heavy metals, which get down into the earth, and we get heavy metals in our body, which makes us more susceptible to the electromagnetic radiations. Just saying, unbelievable amount of chemicals dumped in the sky. Unbelievable! Rick Miracle reporting. November 22nd, about 3:15 on this Wednesday, 2017, November, the day before Thanksgiving. Rick Miracle, video in the sky, noticing no clouds, but tons of chemicals dumped. There's no doubt about it. You can see the straight lines. So they dump all these chemicals in straight lines, and the wind, of course, blows it around. I call it splotches. They're painting the sky pasty white. Chemicals dumped in our sky when there's lots of other things going on, seemingly very nefarious. What kinds of videos you can watch on YouTube, books you can purchase at the bookstore, websites, even government legislation activities. Not too assuring about a positive outcome. Meanwhile, they're dumping chemicals in the sky like there's no tomorrow. I guess the question is, will there be a tomorrow? What do you think? Is this normal? No. Then what is it? November 22nd, about 5 o'clock on this Wednesday, 2017. Rick Miracle, video in the sky, noticing no clouds. And I'll bet you're wondering, if you're looking at this video, what is that white stuff up there, Rick? If that's not a cloud. Well, let me give you a lesson on how to identify a cloud. They are round and puffy. Usually they look like animal shapes, maybe a giraffe or a teddy bear, maybe even an alligator. They do not look like strings of material blowing in the sky. Do they? So this is all material dumped from a plane, courtesy of the powers that be that want globalization have fought for returning to the land of Canaan, repossessing the land of the Palestinians, creating the state of Israel. This is prophesized information. And ruling the world from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, from Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. They control the United Nations, they control the United States and its money supply. The Illuminati, communist, Zionist, Jewish people. Not to be confused with all Jewish people, because if you go look on Yahoo image site and put in Zionism, you will see that many Jewish people are trying to warn us. Jewish people trying to warn us. Henry Macau, PhD, Canadian author. Rabbi Marvin Antelman, leader of the United States Jewish Congress. Benjamin, I forgot his last name, Friedman's famous speech. Even in Winston Churchill's book, his autobiography, and many others. And all this nasty stuff, like World War I, World War II, 9/11, were caused to bring about the state of affairs we are in today in the world. And these are the people dumping chemicals in the sky, if you want my point to adding that to the conversation. So it can't be benevolent, it must be malevolent, sinister, and not good for we the people. That's my theory and philosophy on the topic, why they're dumping chemicals in our sky. We're under attack. With the electromagnetic systems coming online, the 5G, and all the other cell phone towers, Gwen towers, HAARP transmissions, HAARP, and satellite directed energy weapons, etc. These advanced technologies, courtesy of Nikola Tesla. If only he knew, he probably would have kept his inventions and discoveries to himself. That his inventions would be used against mankind. Anyways, it's Wednesday, getting a little nippy out here in the mountains of North Carolina. Leaves have fallen and winter is approaching. I've heard that it's not global warming causing the Earth disturbances. Now the Earth is slowing down its rotation. What are we to believe? Well, we can believe they are spraying us like we're bugs. You just have to go outside where you live and look up and see it. Rick Miracle reporting. November 22nd, about 5:30. Walked outside and told myself, is there any doubt that they're dumping chemicals in the sky? I ask people, is there any doubt of what they're doing? You would think the world would be outraged. Rick Miracle reporting.
Okay, so we've shown it to you from pretty much every angle there possibly is. There's pretty much no two ways about it. If you're awake, you're aware. These guys have been spraying us for as long as I can remember, and pretty much as long as I've been alive, which is clocking on 5 decades. These guys started spraying out on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, seeding the clouds so they would wash out the trail, making it more difficult for the people they decided to attack in Vietnam and blame it on a war or a false flag event. They decided to try to wash out the trail so these guys couldn't move their troops to defend themselves from people like my own family members that were there, not realizing the entire war was based on a lie. But I digress. We have shown you, you have heard from pilots, you have seen the cockpits, you've seen the patents, you can see the skies, more importantly, or the lack thereof. Every single solitary day, these guys are out there, no matter what. You will not see a sunrise that does not look like it's behind melted plastic. They're spraying the sky. They're spraying the sky. They're spraying the sky. In 2017, they came out with Operation Solar Shield. And at the very end of 2016, they came out with new clouds for children to learn at in school, brought to you by NASA. Suddenly, clouds have been completely reclassified because they've damaged the atmosphere so much they have to come up with some bullshit excuse, and it would be the school cloud identification chart. They're spraying the skies. They're spraying the skies. You can't miss it. And yet, 9 out of 10 people do. They don't see it whatsoever at all. But even worse than all of this right now is this. On the 13th of November 2017, more than 15,000 scientists from 184 countries issue warning to humanity. It comes 25 years after the first notice in 1992, when a mere 1,500 scientists issued a similar warning. What they're trying to tell people is there's a ripple effect from the climate change, the global warming, a decline in freshwater availability, unsustainable marine fisheries, ocean dead zones, forest losses, dwindling biodiversity, climate change, which seems like a double whammy right there, and population growth. So apparently, the worse the water is, the less fish there are, the more dead's the ocean, the less trees that you have, and the more you spray the skies, you get more people, according to this math right here. But there's a funny thing about all of this, is they're glossing over these 15,000 scientists from 184 countries issuing warnings to humanity. What about these 31,487 American scientists have signed this petition, along with 9,029 with PhDs, including puppet President Barack Hussein Obama's science czar, have all signed this petition back in Kyoto, Japan in 1997. All of these guys, I would be willing to wager a brand new, shiny, copper-plated round disc of zinc backed up by absolutely nothing. None of these gentlemen probably have jobs right now, and all of these guys are probably in the unemployment field as well, because they probably all lost their funding. This isn't a hoax. This is entirely real. The Global Warming Petition Project. I apologize that I cut it off, but it is what it is here at RFB Studios. This is absolute nonsensical bullshit, but this is what they're pushing, along with the photoshopped image of Earth. You see what I'm saying? Because if this was an actual photograph from an actual satellite in actual outer space of an actual ball that we live on, the entire sky would look like an actual tic-tac-toe board. And actually, it doesn't. So there's that. At any rate, I will leave links in the description. This is getting incredibly insane. This is a full court press. They're coming at us from every single angle. Everywhere you look, all of a sudden, geoengineering is the answer. Geoengineering is the answer. And they do it like a lying little child, where they say, we're upset, we're worried that politicians will use geoengineering instead of trying to lower our carbon footprint. Even though any of us that have lived for 3, 4, 5 decades know that CO2 is actually plant food. And forest losses, well, it probably has nothing to do whatsoever at all with them clear cutting so they can grow more soy, so they can grow more cows, so they can make more McDonald's. I'm sure that's got nothing to do with the equation. The dead zones in the ocean, surely they have nothing to do with things like this, because this had nothing to do with it at all. This unsustainable, unbelievable, unsurmountable amount of oil they were dumping into the ocean for the longest amount of time, this is one of many. And I'm sure Fukushima just completely fixed itself, and the water around there must be spectacular to drink. You see what I'm saying? Something they never even talk about whatsoever at all anymore. That has nothing to do with all the wacky things that we're seeing where the ocean is completely dying off, where radiation is showing up in the Atlantic Ocean because it's attaching itself to vessels and finding its way into opposite oceans. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it at all. Not at all. And the never-ending parade of birds falling from the sky, fish dying off in schools of 500 to a million plus. That's just global warming. The temperature was wrong for them that day, and they all died in mass quantities. This is geoengineering, solar remediation, solar dimming, whatever you want to call it, but we know it best as chemtrails, and they're using NEXRAD, Doppler, and HARP-like technologies. This is ridiculous, and it's going to get worse, apparently, because they wouldn't be massaging the public as much as they are right now, and they are right now. Every place that you look, geoengineering is in the mix, from Rolling Stone to television shows. Beware and tell these people that we do not consent. Keep this going. Do not stop, because they're not stopping. We're running out of time, and they're getting rid of us one by one by one. Richie from Boston. Links will be in the description. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm out.